If you can already tell, this land has a pretty good track record of bringing imperialists to their knees. Various states shifted their power projections across the span of decades, with occasional short-lived invasions by China. Eventually, Europeans arrived on the shores, first the Portuguese, then the Spanish, Dutch, British, and most of all the French. The French would turn Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, or the land that is now composed of these nations, into French Indochina. The French did do a great deal of colonial subjugation, but there are still many French cultural elements that exist in Vietnam to this day, particularly seen in food. During World War II, the Japanese would invade France, or more accurately, French Indochina, not France, but you get what I'm saying. Initially, some natives welcomed the Japanese as liberators from French imperialism, but this was short-lived due to the brutality of Imperial Japan. Eventually, communist rebels, namely the Viet Minh, rose up led by Ho Chi Minh to kick the Japanese out, with the support of the Soviet Union and China. Ho Chi Minh declared independence, but was met with a long drawn-out war of independence with France, which resulted in a communist victory and mass movement of Catholics to the south. While the South was independent from the Communist North, the Viet Cong, also known as the National Liberation Front, fought against the Southern government, which was backed by the US. The US started to provide air support and then Marines. Now, the Vietnam War has been talked about endlessly, so I'm not going to dwell on it. We all know it became deeply unpopular, perhaps the most unpopular war in American history, and eventually the US fled as the North took over the South. With the absence of the US, the Soviet Union and China would then fight their own proxy war, with Moscow supporting Vietnam and China supporting Pol Pot in Cambodia, a regime that killed nearly a fifth of its own people. The Vietnamese would eventually come out victorious. China invaded Vietnam in 1979, but failed to subjugate the country, pushing Vietnam into the Soviet sphere. By the 1980s, market reforms were introduced, and while the government is still authoritarian, it did lax up a bit, at least provided some more economic freedom in the country, which resulted in more economic growth.